All right, viewers, India Today continues to track the path of Cyclone Tauktae. It is to make landfall at about 8 p.m. Let's quickly get you up to speed on how the cyclone is approaching India. The eye of the storm is going to be Gujarat and parts of Maharashtra. The IMD has upgraded now the warning to extremely heavy rainfall in Mumbai for the next few hours. Gusty winds will continue and escalate up to 120 kilometers per hour. The heavy rainfall has caused waterlogging in the financial capital, while gusty winds uprooted trees in multiple places. Several residential buildings have also been damaged due to heavy winds. The Bandra-Worli Sea Link has been closed to traffic. Cyclones have also disrupted the local train services in Mumbai. Mumbai airport has been shut now in view of the cyclone till 6 p.m. Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray on the cyclonic condition. Listen in. All right, I'm going to immediately, before we get in all the reactions, get you the latest coming in on what the ground situation looks like. Joining me is my colleague Vidya, who's getting us more. Vidya, where exactly are you? What are you witnessing right now?
Preeti, I'm actually at the Bandra-Worli Sea Link itself. The entire sea link has been closed, but it is quite understandable why, because the city has recorded approximately 108 km per hour speed of gutsy wind. And right here you can see in the last 1 hour I've seen the sea swell. It's swelling up. And there is high tide, which is causing inundation of low-lying areas, along with obviously the heavy rain that the city has witnessed. But the heavy downpour that we have been seeing since morning, because of that the visibility is extremely low. Just a few minutes ago I could not even see the other side of Mumbai, which is basically the Dadar and the Mahim and the southern areas of Mumbai. A little bit of clearing has just happened, but there are heavy clouds just hanging on to the city right now, and that is certainly going to cause a lot of more rain in the city. Because of this entire heavy rain and the gutsy wind, that the entire airport has been closed down. The Bandra-Worli Sea Link is down because of that, and that's one of the reasons why low-lying areas of Mumbai are inundated even now. But certainly, because the administration was well prepared for it, they had put in a lot of measures in place, including removing people from the COVID, makeshift hospitals that had been made in the Wuhan style. If you remember, Preeti, last year, people were shifted out, and we did see why. Because the moment we reached there today, all of it is extremely damaged, and it's thankfully that the administration had moved on in the right time, moved out approximately 600 patients from there, and that's one of the reasons why we did not see anyone being hurt, any damages being done, apart from obviously the physical damage to the COVID care center and the vaccination center at BKC. But that's not the only one. There are other places as well which have been damaged, and that's one of the conversations that had really happened between the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister, that Uddhav Thackeray did tell the Prime Minister about the damages that the city and Maharashtra has suffered because of this cyclone.
All right, appreciate you joining us. Vidya, we're going to continue to come to you. Be safe, continue to get us the latest. This is what Mumbai looks like. The cyclone is hurling towards Mumbai and the coast of Gujarat as well. Gujarat is the eye of the storm, viewers. Things right now, 8 p.m. is what we are getting to understand when the cyclone will make landfall where Gujarat is concerned. As we speak, the cyclone is headed towards the center of the southern bulge of Gujarat and is expected to make landfall near Diu by evening. It has been predicted that the cyclone will make landfall between Porbandar and Bhavnagar district at between 8 to 11 today. As a precautionary measure, Kandla Airport has been shut for commercial operations till 2 p.m. tomorrow. However, emergency and rescue flights have been allowed to function. NDRF has deployed over 50 teams in the state for rescue and awareness efforts. All right, what we are getting to understand, and let me quickly get our viewers up to speed. The eye of the storm, viewers, is Gujarat. Gujarat will be facing the biggest brunt of Cyclone Tauktae. It is to make landfall between Porbandar and Bhavnagar. The time of landfall is expected any time between 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Now, what we also know that the area would be possibly due by this evening. I want to cut across to Veerawal, Gujarat, where my colleague Gopi Manyar is joining us. गोपी, आप अपने क्या देख रहे हैं? अभी 8 बजे के करीब लैंडफॉल की संभावना है.
बिल्कुल प्रीति, जो लैंडफॉल की संभावना 8 बजे के आसपास बताई जा रही है कि 8 बजे से लेकर रात को 11 बजे के बीच कभी भी लैंडफॉल हो सकता है. ये लैंडफॉल जो है वो ऊना का जो दीव का समुद्र किनारा है वहाँ से थोड़ा सा आगे की साइड पे ये जो लैंडफॉल होगा, यानी ऊना से लेके पोरबंदर के बीच में ये लैंडफॉल होना है, जिसका असर जो है वो वेरावल में अभी से देखने मिलने लगा है. जो हवा है वो तेज हवाएं चल रही है, साथ ही समुद्र उफान पर है. और सबसे अहम कि लोगों को ये कहा गया है कि लोग अपने घरों के अंदर ही रहे, खास करके तब जब साइक्लोन रात को 8 बजे से लेके 11 बजे के बीच में जब टकराएगा. यहाँ पे आपको दिखाती हूँ कि आप देख सकते हैं जो हवा की है वो काफ़ी तेज़ हो चुकी है. यहाँ पे सुबह से यहाँ पे इतनी तेज़ हवाएं नहीं थी, लेकिन शाम के बाद यहाँ पे हवाएं तेज़ होनी शुरू हो चुकी है. और सबसे ज़्यादा हम कहेंगे कि जो गुजरात के दीव जाफराबाद का जो इलाका है वहाँ पे साइक्लोन का असर है वो अब धीरे धीरे दिखने लगा है. बारिश भी वहाँ यही जा रहा है कि जब लैंडफॉल होगा तो वेरावल, पोरबंदर, जूनागढ़ का जो पूरा इलाका है वहां पे सबसे ज्यादा बारिश 1,25,000.
जी गोपी, आपकी आवाज टूट रही है, अपना ख्याल रखिए. वी आर गोइंग टू कंटिन्यू टू कीप कमिंग बैक टू यू. माय कॉलीग Gopi Manyar there getting us the very latest where Gujarat Veerawal is concerned. She's pretty much stationed in the eye of the storm, expecting to make landfall between 8 p.m. viewers and 11 p.m. All right, let's quickly now cut across to the news break that is filtering in right now. News coming in that the special CBI court, news break just filtering in. Special CBI court led by Justice Anupam Mukherjee has granted bail to all 4 arrested in the Narada case. If you remember, this morning there was a lot of politics, lot of chaos in Kolkata when the CBI arrested 4 members of the TMC, 2 sitting ministers and 1 MLA of the TMC. All 4 have been granted bail and of course, all 4 have been granted bail, led by Justice Anupama Mukherjee, the special CBI court led by Justice Anupam Mukherjee. All 4, Firhad Hakim, Subrata Mukherjee, Madan Mitra and Chauvin Chatterjee have got bail. I want to cut across to my colleague Surya Agni, who's joining us for more. Surya, a lot of politics has played at the back of what happened since the course of the day. What's the latest?
Well, Preeti, all these 4 who were arrested by the CBI early morning today, including 2 ministers, 2 heavyweight ministers, that is Firhad Hakim and Subrata Mukherjee and Madan Mitra, who's a legislator, and former Trinamool member who joined the BJP but did not contest, that is Chauvin Chatterjee, former sitting mayor of Kolkata. All of these 4 individuals have been granted bail by the special sessions court of the CBI, and that has happened just a while back. Now they are still inside the building in front of which we are standing. What we need to understand over here that early morning today when these 4 individuals were arrested, we spoke to Biman Banerjee, who is the Speaker of the House of the Assembly. He called the arrest to be unconstitutional. What he said was, quote unquote, that when an MLA or a legislator needs to be arrested or prosecuted, permission needs to be sought from the Speaker. In this particular case, permission was not sought from the Speaker but from the Governor, and that is the reason why he claimed that the arrests were unconstitutional. Now, at the end of the day, just a while back, we have broken the news that all these 4 have been granted bail by the CBI court. Now, there's another aspect to this entire story, which is that whether or not the CBI goes to the High Court to arrest them once again or not, that is something which will be seen only maybe in a couple of days from now. Back to you, Preeti.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Surya. We're going to continue to come back to you for more updates on that story, but politics playing out immensely at the back of what has happened. However, all 4 arrested by the CBI have been granted bail. All right, viewers, the latest coming in the fight of coronavirus, the DRDO has come out with a drug 2DG. It's supposed to help especially in severe and moderate dependence in COVID patients. It is now out and people can start using it. It is already being administered in army-run hospitals.
India has added another arsenal in its fight against coronavirus. The first batch of the 2DG, or the drug known as 2-deoxy-D-glucose, the drug known to reduce oxygen dependency in hospitalized COVID-19 cases, was unveiled.
आज के दिन जो ये नई दवा 2DG के नाम से देश के लिए उपलब्ध कराई जा रही है, डॉक्टर रेड्डीज लैब ऑलरेडी वैक्सीन के फ्रंट पर भी महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा रहा है और कोविड के खिलाफ हमारी लड़ाई में, उस जंग में हमको और मजबूती प्रदान करेगी।
कोविड में विशेष रूप से यह ड्रग बहुत ही अपनी प्रभावी भूमिका का निर्वाह करेगी। यह आशा और उम्मीद की एक नई किरण लेकर आया है। हम कोविड पर विजय प्राप्त करेंगे, इस संकल्प के साथ हम सबको आगे बढ़ते रहने की आवश्यकता है।
The drug, developed by the Defense Research and Development Organization in collaboration with Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology, Hyderabad, and Dr. Reddy's for treatment of COVID-19, was approved by the Drugs Controller General of India on May 8th for emergency use in moderate to severe cases of COVID-19. Clinical trials results show that the drug helps in faster recovery by settling in the virus-infected cells and preventing virus growth by stopping its synthesis and energy production. The drug is prescribed to be taken orally, dissolved in water. Hospitals will begin to receive supplies of the drug. To start with, nearly 10,000 doses will be supplied to various hospitals in Delhi.
DCGI ने अप्रूवल दे दिया है इमरजेंसी यूज एडजवेंट थेरेपी। सो ये अभी पिछले 10-15 दिन से जो हमारे पास था वो कहीं हॉस्पिटल्स में डॉक्टर का प्रिस्क्रिप्शन के ऊपर भी दे रहे थे। अच्छा सा रिकवरी है पेशेंट्स में, जल्दी से रिकवर हो रहा था, ऑक्सीजन का डिपेंडेंसी बहुत कम था।
Drug manufacturers claim that the drug will be effective against all variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus currently circulating in India. The second wave saw higher dependency in moderate to severe cases of COVID-19 effectively. The use of 2DG drug could begin to provide some relief and reduce stay in hospital for COVID patients. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, now it's pretty much known that the first wave relatively spared the rural belt. The second wave hasn't. The COVID tsunami in the second wave has taken a huge toll on India's rural health infrastructure and our rural belt, the people living there. Now, 50% of the total caseload in India is coming in from the rural belt, forcing the government to come up with a plan to curtail that.
The disease of the rich and those who live in urban India? Not anymore. Over the last few weeks, COVID-19 has reached the interiors of the country. The penetration like never before. Deadly, causing utmost misery and exposing the dismal healthcare system. Rural India now has half of the country's caseload. The Union Health Ministry has issued a separate set of guidelines keeping in mind the surge. Here is what the centre expects rural districts to do. Increased rapid antigen tests is what the centre is advising. Nodal officers will be trained in using rapid antigen detection kits. Contact tracing should be done as per Integrated Disease Surveillance Program's guidelines. Look now for cases with influenza-like illness is what the centre says. A home isolation kit shall be provided to all such cases, which should include required medicines like paracetamols, ivermectin, cough syrup and multivitamins. Semi-urban and rural areas may plan a minimum of 30 bedded COVID care centres.
With mild symptoms and those who have not been tested as positive, or even if they are tested as positive but still symptoms are mild, could be isolated at home with provision of COVID care kit and instructions for moving to a higher center if the symptoms deteriorate. With this type of arrangement, most of the people in rural areas with mild COVID can be taken care of at home with simple medication and can be moved. The few cases who develop complications can be moved to higher level for treatment.
The COVID care centres should have separate areas for suspected and confirmed cases with preferably separate entry and exit for each. Suspect and confirmed cases should not be allowed to mix under any circumstances.
The guidelines stress on three important aspects, which is testing, surveillance and infrastructure. In the testing, it is advised that the nodal officers are familiar with using rapid antigen kits and promote for faster detection. In terms of surveillance, the advisory suggests that India's ambitious Integrated Disease Surveillance Project, IDSP, its strengths are utilized in ensuring that people with different stages of the disease are identified very early on so that the treatment can begin. In terms of infrastructure, the focus is on setting up COVID care centers, especially for those who cannot be isolated at home, and to make sure that enough medical facilities are available. Most importantly, the focus is on to separate the infected from the uninfected.
Keeping in mind the spread of the wildfire that COVID-19 is to rural India now, the government has had to come up with a separate set of guidelines given the limitations that rural India has in terms of hospital preparedness and testing facilities. The realization that one size can't fit all is writ large when it comes to the new and separate guidelines issued for rural India. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today.
All right, viewers, with that, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay with us on the other side of this commercial break is our fact check segment where we bust certain myths masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Stay with me. Welcome back. You're watching our fact check segment where we bust certain myths masquerading to be facts on social media platforms and WhatsApp groups. Now, there is a video that has been floating about. You might have got it on many WhatsApp groups, which seems to suggest that Turkey is moving its army to Gaza. Turkey has refuted the claims, viewers, saying these visuals are old, so false. That fact check says false. There is no army from Turkey moving towards Gaza with the current Israel-Palestine conflict in place. A quick break, viewers, to stay with us. Up next is To The Point.